Welcome to another episode of the Valley Culture Podcast, episode 6, you guys. We are so excited. God has been so good, and we can't believe we're already in episode 6. These weeks have been going by so fast, and we've enjoyed every guest, every conversation, every moment. And we are so excited because last week we received our first donation for the podcast. It's been amazing. And we have a link down below where you can, if you like to sponsor and keep hearing more great stories from local people from here from the Valley, tell their stories, you can click on the link down below. And if you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, we'll leave a link down there below too. I believe it's Anchor, where you can donate any amount you like. It can be $1, 50 cents, whatever. If you're liking these episodes and you want to donate and help us out to keep doing more episodes and getting more equipment to have more guests here, you're more than welcome, and we would greatly appreciate it. And without further ado, I'm excited to introduce our guest for today, Oscar Garcia, owner of Blanc Image Productions and a loan officer at Cardinal Financial. How are you?
Hey, Becky, I'm doing good. I'm actually very excited. I'm humbled to be here on episode number 6.
Yes.
And kind of share, the culture of the Valley and, how I came about to be where I'm at right now.
Oh, awesome. Yes, well, I was so excited that you accepted the invitation. I've had the pleasure to know you for a while already. When I first met you, I think it was like 10 years ago.
Yes.
And I met you at Cheval's Farm where you were DJing.
Yes.
I remember that very well. And you were very nice. And as a DJ, amazing.
Thank you so much.
So it's been 10 years, and we've met again at different events where you've DJ'd. And I'm just so happy to have you. So how have you been? What's new with you?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of changes that we've had to adapt, but all good, all for the good.
Awesome.
So, a little bit about Oscar. If anybody relates, like, hey, Imperial Valley, and this is my valley. Well, I've been living here since I was 7 years old.
Okay.
So I do consider myself pretty much homegrown. I was originally born in Mexicali. And then my parents were like, hey, you're going to go learn English. So they sent me to live with my grandparents. And then the transition came to be in El Centro. So I've been here since I was 7. And, and I started just liking music a lot since I was even 7 years old. I just started like loving music, having a passion for music.
Okay.
And, it started leading to the whole passion of the DJ and stuff.
Wow, that's amazing. So you started listening to music. So how did you so there's people that, like music and decide, okay, I want to be a musician, or I like the music, I want to be a singer. But tú te fuiste por el route the DJ. How did that happen? Or did you see somebody that inspired you? Or?
It was just the music. The music really inspired me. Everything that was coming out, when I was 7 years old. I was like, wow, this music is so amazing. And I wanted to just share it with people. I wanted to share it with people. And then once I started getting a little bit older, in elementary, then it became a really big part of my life, the music and everything. And then of course once I reached high school, then that music really transformed me. It transformed me a lot when the whole 80s scene came about, the new wave. It really transformed who Oscar was as far as dressing the part, wearing the eyeliner, dyeing my hair. People won't even recognize me if I show them pictures of how Oscar used to dress in high school, But it was all because of the music, all the 80s stuff that was going on. And I wanted to, share it, my friend and I. So then we started just, trying to borrow equipment. We couldn't afford equipment, so we would rent equipment and borrow it. And we started doing house parties.
Okay.
And then those house parties, and we started getting the name out there, and then then people started hiring us to do, more parties at houses and stuff. Cool. But it was really because I wanted to really share that music, that passion that I really liked back then. I wanted to play that for people, make them dance, but then after that, it started to become like, hey, you know what? This is going to be a business.
Yeah. So did you come from a musical background? Was your your parents, your grandma? You said you were in Mexicali for 7 years of your life.
Yes.
Was that whole transition from Mexicali to coming here to the Valley? How was that?
I had to adapt because, Well, to answer your first question, no, none of my family really are musicians. I don't play any instruments. I don't think it's ever too late to learn how to play an instrument.
Aquí tenemos la guitar.
There you go. We can start with the guitar. So yeah, when I came here when I was 7, well, I didn't know any English.
Okay.
So it was a little bit.
That must have been hard.
Yeah, it was the adaptation part of it because I kind of understood everything, as far as all the stuff, as far as the math and everything, but I just didn't know how to speak the language. Yeah. So I had to go through some challenges, making fun of me, the new kid and that doesn't know any English, getting chased around during recess.
Oh my goodness.
People trying to kick my butt.
Oh, wow.
But I did a lot of exercise, running during recess.
It kept you fit, right?
Exactly.
Oh, that must have been really hard. Like, I can't imagine, like, what that had to be for, especially like, leaving your parents behind in Mexicali, coming to live with your grandma, and then going to school and it's like to the unknown, like como la song de la Elsa, no? To the unknown and not knowing the language. Did you find music as like an escape?
Not really as escape, but I think with here's the thing, Oscar and his friends, we didn't really go to the parties back in the day, back in the high school. That didn't really attract us, like to go to parties and do this and do that. What we prefer to do is listen to music.
Okay.
So, anything that we could save up or get our parents to help us with a little bit of contributions with money, we would go out and buy, records, vinyl,
cool.
Back then. And then I had a little record player.
That's
that's
cool.
what was fun for us, just really being in my room, listening to all these new artists that were coming out and just enjoying that music, which was fabulous. And that's kind of where like it's the Blanc image started coming about, where like, hey, I want to share this music with people. I want to like make them happy. I want to make them dance. I want to share everything that's going on and stuff.
Yeah, because music does that. Music has like a big influence. Like I said, I've been at parties that you've DJ'd in, and tú sabes poner el ambiente. Like I think you're one of the best DJs here in the Valley, if not not just here in the Valley, and everywhere. I like how you manage, y como tú sabes como like how to go with the flow and como hacer a la gente entrar al ambiente, know how to read people, como qué música les gusta, and and you stick to that, y te quedas, and I think that's super cool. But now I know that it comes from like going back to your days where you feel the music, you enjoy the music, you have a passion. Can you say that for what you do? Well,
that's actually, I think that's the main thing, is like the passion. Because you can definitely learn it. Yeah. You can learn it. You can have somebody shadow you, and that way they hey, I want to learn, Oscar. Can I shadow you and this and that? Yeah. That's all good. But I believe that in anything you do, if you have passion, and that's where I deliver. Like everything you talked about was great, that you remember all that stuff. Like as far as applying the music, I feel the crowd. Yes. So I don't go into an event like these are all the songs that I'm going to play and it's all going to be in order. Obviously, I do get a playlist. I need some help from my clients, because I try to make it really personable and customize it to their event. Yeah. So all my events are different. Okay. Because why? Because I care whether it's a quinceañera or it's a wedding. Well, hey, let's sit down. Let's get to know each other. Let's get to know what you like for music, what your family and friends like. But then the day of the event, I feel the crowd. Yeah. So I feel what's going to work, what's not going to work. And you know what? You can't really, I hate to say, you can't really learn.
Yeah, you can't really teach that.
Because
learn that,
there's everybody has their own style. So it's my style, and it's how I feel the crowd. Yeah. And then the passion that I have. And that's why I can really tell you that's where it's been really successful. Yeah. Because I keep everything fun, but I keep it really professional. Yeah. As far as my business, we always try to give that excellent customer service to my clients, knowing that when we go there, this is going to be a fun party. Yes. But before then, behind the scenes, we're going to really put everything together really nicely. On a timeline. I'm going to get to know the family. We're going to put everything in order. I'm going to be the master of ceremonies also as well.
You do a great job at that too.
Thank you so much. So it's basically the passion. Yeah. And well, you know what? With Blanc Image, it's I'm just very humbled. Next year, we're going to be celebrating 40 years in February.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Yes. I hope to be invited to that party.
We are. I'm already planning something. I don't know where it's going to be at yet, but definitely it's going to be more something to not just celebrate, the Blanc image and all the parties and all the families that we have been able to been a blessing to basically, but to give recognition to Imperial Valley that the Valley has enabled us and empowered us to have all these clients to, provide our musical talents to them and make them dance.
That's amazing. Can you say that the Imperial Valley is hay gente que le gusta bailar y el party?
Oh, yeah. They don't care if it's 120 degrees. They're still going to have a
They're
party.
going to dance. They're going to get down.
Yes.
Awesome. So going back, was it something that your parents... What did your parents think when you're like, hey, I want to do this as a living or me quiero dedicar a esto? Like, ¿qué te dijeron?
They didn't really care. My parents were doing their own thing. They just really trusted me because I wasn't out in the party crowd. I wasn't out drinking or doing other stuff. Basically my passion was music. I can say that was my addiction was music.
That's a good addiction.
So they really didn't really stand in the way or tell me you can't be doing that. As long as I went to school and I was doing gigs and doing the music and they knew that it was fun and I was staying out of trouble. Yeah. They were okay. So really they didn't really have like any input to be honest. They just kind of let me go with the flow. Yeah. And then it started becoming it's basically a hobby. Yeah. And the hobby that became with my passion, that hobby started becoming a full-time business on the weekends.
Wow, that's amazing. So before have you always done the DJ? Has always been like your first job before doing the loan officer thing or stuff like that? Or did you have like a job DJing and...
Yeah, it's always been a hobby.
Okay,
so it was always been a hobby.
Okay.
Always been a hobby where I had my... either the part-time job when I was young or a full-time job when I got a little bit, older in my career and stuff. So it's always was a hobby. But that hobby, like I said, it turned into just like full-time where we can get busy up to 2 years in advance.
Wow.
For the weddings and quinceañeras and stuff.
That is amazing. So we're going to go on a little break right now, guys. I want to show you a little bit about what Oscar does and his work. Check it out. Me imagino que a lot of you guys ya se pararon if you were sitting down a bailar y entraron en ambiente, and that's what Oscar's specialty is. He will make you get up and dance y entrar en ambiente. So Oscar, hasta aquí we were looking at the commercial and ya se quería poner sus headphones on, pero no, we're doing an interview, Oscar.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I felt like I needed a DJ right now. Hey, but you guys are being really humble, Becky, because that production was done by you guys, the Precision Photography and Multimedia.
Thank you so much. We had such a good time doing that.
Yes, they're all working together, making that dream happen. Right?
Yes, and the funny thing was that day that we did that commercial for you, we were actually at an event. You were DJing and we were taking the pictures and doing the videography, and I remember Urian was like, de una vez, let's do it. En medio de un evento que estábamos haciendo, hicimos el video también.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't even planned. It wasn't rehearsed. We didn't rehearse it.
Nothing.
It was like real. It's not like, hey, let's get all these people and let's pay them to dance.
Yes.
No, it actually was real.
It was an actual wedding. Yes. It was so much fun. Cada vez que haces DJ un event, Oscar, y nos toca a nosotros hacer los videos and the pictures, it's hard for me not to be like, when I'm taking pictures, porque hasta uno entra en ambiente acá.
Exactly. No, thank you.
So I want to ask you this question. How did the name Blanc Image, or where did it come from?
Well, a couple of things. One, like you were talking about the dancing, everybody, like I really take a lot of pride and I stand behind it, that our slogan behind Blanc Image Productions is "We Keep You Dancing." Okay. And I really stand behind it because like every gig, our main goal is to make sure that we play a good variety of music. We take requests, make sure that everybody's special, right? And that everybody leaves and they're like, wow, we danced. Yes. Not just like, oh, he only played, it was lopsided. It was a quinceañera, so he only played music for the young adults. Yeah. Or the other way around, it was a wedding and he only played music for the adults and the young generation was left out. No, so I take a lot of pride in my slogan that we keep you dancing.
And I can testify to that. Because like I said, I've been to several events. We've worked at several events together where I've seen that. Like you do a mix of everything. So todos, they feel included. Y está bien chistoso because like you'll be playing maybe a song that's more like a little more hipster for the younger. Y ya metes, pero ya está en ambiente y luego metes un song que es más acá for like the older generation. Yeah, the younger generation stays porque ya están en ambiente and the crowd is full with the younger and the older generation just having a good time all together. So that's really cool. So a little birdie told me that you worked at the Forum in Mexicali.
Wow, who's that little birdie?
I can't get my sources out because then I give them away. I don't like to decirme el chisme.
Just to be honest, when I came here, I most of the time when I talk about Blanc Image, I don't even mention, that I worked at the Forum, or I just completely forget about it. But it was a very important part of my life.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't want to get like too sentimental because I'll start crying. Please. Because it has that chapter was a 7-year chapter. It was always my dream to work at the Forum. I mean, I was a client pretty much like the first month that it opened. I don't want to say it was the first weekend.
Okay.
But I know it was the first month that it opened. And when I first walked into the Forum, I will never, ever forget. They were playing a song by The Cure called A Night Like This. And I go, this is home. So, and I mean, I used to go every weekend. My friends and I, we had a group of people. And it started getting to where I became one of the best customers there as far as
you were those like, hey Oscar, ¿qué onda? Yeah, todos te saludaban and everything.
More with because everybody knew me there, but more because I started getting to know the DJs there, and I started taking the music. Like I would take them music because Blanc Image, of course, I'm DJing, you have all the latest stuff, and they didn't have the access of the music like we did here on the US side. So I started getting to know the DJs, became my friends, and I started taking the music, videos, and it came to a point where like they were like, man, what time is Oscar coming? Like, what new music does he have? So to me, it was an honor that I would take them, the latest remix by, it could be any of the bands that we were into at that time, and they would play it on the spot, and it made us happy. So then the word started spreading and spreading. So one thing led to another, and when those two DJs left, everybody moves on.
Yes.
Then another DJ came in, and they started asking around, like, who can we get to fill in that second spot here at the Forum?
Yeah.
And everybody started talking and throwing
como
names.
todos ya te conocían, everybody,
and it got to the owner, and then the owner started asking. To be honest, to this day, I don't know how they got my number, but they called me.
No. How long has it been since you've been there?
Man, it's been forever. So I DJ there from 1990 to 1997.
Okay.
And when I got that call for the interview, and I went and I met with the manager, the owner, and the DJ that was going to be right there. And when they told me they wanted a DJ there, and their main goal was, our Saturdays are slow. I want you to help us, bring up our Saturday crowd. And I told them, okay, give me 6 months.
Okay.
And I did get hired, and we did that in less than 6 months. So we had two evenings. We had the Friday that was bumping, mainly Mexicali crowd, and we had the Saturday crowd, which was mainly the Valley.
Okay.
And we kept that going for 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and the amazing thing, besides all that experience with working at the top club in Mexicali, we had the best sound system, best lighting. First club, I want to say in Mexicali, that was showing the music videos. Okay. So people would go.
And you brought that into the music videos?
No, they already had that.
Okay.
They already had. I would just bring the actual videos, the new ones that they didn't have.
Yeah.
But the Forum was a big deal because it was like a high-end club with high-end sound, high-end lighting, high-end video. They had a video wall that counts thousands of dollars. That was unheard of that any club could have that at that time. And people would like to dress up like you and I. We would be like, hey, let's go to the Forum. And we knew that if we went to the Forum, we were going to listen to a good variety of music. They knew it was coming. They knew we were going to play all the latest hip hop, latest dance stuff. And they knew that Oscar was going to throw an alternative and new wave. They knew that for sure also as well.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so and that's where I met my wife.
Hey.
Yeah,
I want to know about that too right now.
So it was an incredible experience because that's where I got a lot of the aggressiveness that I applied to Blanc Image.
Okay.
So that's, if you want to ask, like, what makes you so different, Oscar, like Blanc Image and other DJs? Well, besides what we talked about, the professionalism, the passion, the feeling is they don't have the experience that I have working at a club like the Forum where there's 800 to 1,000 people dancing and keeping that up. So my mentality is totally different than some of my competition. So that's why I put we keep you dancing.
Yes. So tell me a little bit more about that. So you had your interview. They hired you. Did you feel like, did you feel pressure? Like, they're giving me 6 months and I know like or how did you feel at that moment?
To be honest, I was so young and excited because that was like that was my dream. I would always go there and look at the DJ booth and like, man,
one day.
I mean, I didn't even think that would actually become a reality.
Wow.
That was just a dream.
Yes.
Right. So to be honest, I was just so excited. I didn't even when I told them, I didn't even write it down. Okay, 6 months. No, I just was so excited. I just trusted so much in myself.
You knew what you had to offer.
And the music that I had, that I knew that we were going to make it happen as long as my partner that I hadn't really known. That we would be a
So you guys work together. You guys were both up there on Fridays and Saturdays.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's basically we needed to develop like a chemistry. Like he needed to trust me on the Saturdays, like what music's gonna work.
Yeah.
And I needed to trust him. On the Fridays. And we both took turns. He was mainly more the DJ part of it. I would be mainly in charge of showing the videos at the forum, the lighting. But then in Saturdays, I would have an opportunity to DJ more slowly, more and more to where then I started getting good DJ skills. After that, I already had some, but I believe I really got much better, having that experience at a big club.
That is so cool. Wow, that is amazing. So I'm gonna give you who my birdie was. Okay. So guys, we have a gardener that comes here. Because no se mire because the grass is kind of, but we just started working with the gardener, and he came and he started asking. We started having like a conversation with Urian, and he was telling him Urian he was telling us that one of his nephews is going to get married and he's going to do the pictures. And he's like, I remember you guys had told us that you guys do pictures and stuff like that. So Dan started talking to him. And then the conversation broke and where Dan told him, we have a podcast. And Dan started showing him like some of the videos and what we're doing. And he's like, we actually have one of the next podcast episode today. And he's like, okay. And he's like, pues, who do you guys have? ¿Quién tienen de invitado? And we're like, pues he's a DJ and he's also a loan officer. ¿Cómo se llama? Oscar Garcia. He knew who you were.
That's so amazing.
He was a birdie. He goes,
so amazing.
Sí, no, dice, Oscar Garcia. He's like, va a venir aquí con usted. So you're popular. Like, I feel like, oh my, who do I have in the podcast rap? People know you. And he's the one that told us, yes. Dijo, yo me acuerdo del Oscar cuando yo iba al forum en Mexicali. Él era el DJ, no, le echó flores. Que así es el ambiente. Que he remembered going and you were the DJ and it was just exciting time and fun time and todos bailando. So that's cool that people have that memory of you.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, I consider myself pretty. Everybody knows me. My father-in-law, que en paz descanse, he and other people have always said it like, tú eres como el pan Bimbo. I'm like, huh? What does that mean? Porque todos te conocen. I'm like, okay, that makes kind of sense.
Oh my God, that is so cool though.
But yeah, the forum played a big part of my in my career for the DJ for Blanc Image. Because actually when I worked at the forum, that my Blanc Image kind of I didn't stop Blanc Image, but to be honest, if I didn't have that many gigs back then, it didn't matter because I was committed 100% at the forum every Friday, every Saturday, whenever we had what they call the tardeadas back then. So then I would be there also. So we had a good 7-year run. We had so many bands that people right now, if I tell them, they don't even believe it. Like, wow, you guys had that band there? Yes, we had that and many more.
Name some of them for us.
So, for example, like when I first came in, I couldn't even believe it. I think it was like my first, the first week or 2 weeks, we had Maná. And that was with their first, actually, technically their second album.
Wow.
So Maná, and people couldn't even fit there. I thought the second level was going to fall down.
How many people fit in the forum?
Well, I would say capacity was probably maybe back then 800. There must have been over 1,000 people there. For sure, breaking fire hazards, but you're in Mexicali, so who cares?
Who cares?
But yeah, we had all the popular ones like Maná, Café Tacuba,
and you were there.
For all those, Mónica Naranjo, Faye, just I can keep going, Los Sacados. We had all those bands, all these bands that were just so popular. We had them, and then on the American events, the English artists, then I had the honor of bringing them in. Where I would actually pick them up at the airport, take them in. I was like, wow, I'm DJing plus I'm escorting, some of these artists like Anything Box. We had Crystal Waters, Gillette. I'm like, I'm actually picking them up at the airport and taking them.
Was it such a surreal moment?
It was, especially with Anything Box, because they ended up becoming part of who Oscar is, also because of their music and getting to know the band and the lead singer Claude and becoming friends. We just had them here in December in El Centro. So, their music really means a lot to me, and what he does, he's real passionate about what he does. So, being with a band like them.
And you got to befriend them. That's so cool.
Yeah, and getting to know them, driving all the way from, Anaheim and coming and then spending time with them and taking them back and really knowing that, they're people like you and I,
I think people forget that, los miran y como que no, but they're just like you said, they're people just like you and, me.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's so cool. So you had some amazing experiences. What is one experience out of the 7 years that you're just like, okay, this one is like, I know there's a lot because with the maná, yo me quedé con maná, like,
yeah.
but like, what was one experience where you're just like, this is the most memorable?
There's a few, but I think the top ones, being part of something special, memorable that happened at the forum, is a really good friend of mine here locally. He'll know who he is if he watches it.
Okay.
He asked me,
watch it.
Oscar, I'm going to propose to his fiance at that time, and I want to do it at the forum in front of everybody, and I want, number one, for you to stop the music and announce it and give me the microphone, and then we're gonna and I want you to show it on the TVs. I'm like, dude, I go, we don't ever pause the music at the forum. We never pause it. We never pause the music. People are dancing. We're not gonna stop the action to be like, So he asked me that favor. Yeah. And he's a good friend of mine. So I kind of like thought about it, and I go, okay, hold on, let me get back to you. Right. Okay. So I did talk to my partner, right? The managers, they trusted us. So we didn't really need to talk to management. It was just my partner. So I talked to him, and it was on a Saturday. So you can imagine the forum just being so packed. Okay. And then all of a sudden, music stops.
So everybody's
and Oscar has a microphone. Yes. And then now they're projecting me on the TVs. And I go, hey guys, I have a very special announcement. And they're following me on the camera upstairs.
Oh my gosh.
So upstairs in the corner is my friend and all his crowd and his fiance, and I announce, like I'm going to give the microphone to somebody, a special friend of mine, and he's got a special announcement. So when I give him the microphone, he kneels down, proposes to her, gives her the ring, she accepts, and this is all like people watching there at the forum and all on the TVs. That was an amazing moment.
Wow. Y todos cheering them on.
And it wasn't even about me. It was us being able to be a part of that. Yeah. They're never going to forget that. They still talk about it till this day. Their family, their friends, everybody that was there. That was a very, very special moment.
Wow. So 7 years, was it bittersweet the moment you left? Was it just, okay, it was just my time? Everybody, like you said, like the last teachers, it was just their time. And,
it was my time. It was my time. I had gotten engaged at that time in 97. I got married a year later. Okay. So it was time to give up the club scene, number one. And then also the music was changing too much to where I wasn't really liking it anymore. Okay. For that particular club at that time. Okay. So I needed somebody else to maybe take off with that music. That's not really what I wanted to play and stuff at that time. But the other side of it, 50% was that. The other 50% was that I got engaged, and I wanted to concentrate on that.
Speaking of engaged, you said you met your wife there.
Yes.
How was that?
It was awesome because if people that remember going to the forum, there was we had a huge spotlight in the DJ booth. Okay. So some people enjoyed the spotlight because it was really bright. Some of them why are you shining that light? Because it would blind you literally. Yeah. So the first time when she came in, and I saw her, I was like, wow. Hey. So I put that spotlight on her, and I kept doing it over and over and over until it was annoying to her. It was very annoying. She's like, why do they keep putting that spotlight on me? It happened to be that we didn't know that at the time, but her best friend was engaged to my partner.
Oh, no way. Yes. How cool.
Yeah, so I'm like, hey, can you hook me up? And she's like, no, you have a girlfriend and she's my friend. Yeah. And, and she has a boyfriend. So, we respected that territory. Okay. But then, after, she didn't have commitment. I didn't have commitment. Yeah. Then that moment came where she finally gave me her phone number. Okay. And that's when I made the call. But that was a special moment also because that's where I met her.
That's so cool because you got to meet your wife doing what you love at the place that you desired to work out for so long. So that I me imagino que el forum just holds a very special place in your heart,
and
right?
I got to put that spotlight on her all the time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yes. So that was pretty awesome. There's a lot of good memories. Okay. Came from the forum. I just have great memories just meeting great people that would love to go dance, and they were just so excited to get on the speaker. That's a big deal about the forum. They wanted to get on the speaker. Yeah. They would literally fight for it. This is my speaker on Saturdays. If you don't get on it, it belongs to me. So it was really funny.
Tenían que apartar el speaker so
no, just first come, first serve. But there was people really that really knew how to dance really well, and then they would just like to get on the speaker and stuff. So that was really special.
That's so cool. So el forum todavía está ahí?
No, I mean they pretty much. After I left, I know they try to keep it going, but there was just too many changes, and it ended up closing a few years after that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, don't blame it on me, guys.
It's not Oscar's fault, guys. Awesome. So I also know about a foundation that you started?
Wow, that's
I have good sources, Oscar.
You do.
Yeah, I do.
Good homework, because we didn't really rehearse this.
Yes, we didn't. We didn't at all.
I just, like, hey, I just like, okay, put on my jacket and come over here.
We did our homework.
Well, the the foundation, not really a foundation that I started. It was more an event.
Okay.
An event that I had a vision.
Okay.
And it all comes back from the passion that we talked about. Mm-hmm. The passion for how can my talents that I have.
Yeah.
How can I use that to give back to our community, to Imperial Valley?
Okay.
And what can I do? Like, am I doing enough for Imperial Valley, or what can I do? Like, yes, I'm doing all these events, great events, weddings, quinceañeras, done a lot of stuff for the community as well. But there's got to be something. So Oscar really is passionate.
Okay.
So when I get a thought or an idea and it doesn't let me go, then, I have to take off with it. So a vision was that I wanted to start an event called Bailando por un Sueño for Imperial Valley, where we would get 6 dance instructors and get 6 families that have a medical need in Imperial Valley, and we would raise money for them. That was the whole thing in the very beginning. That was for medical needs for Imperial Valley. Wow. But all I had was the vision, and then I knew that I could do it because I had the equipment and everything, and I could go out and get the Imperial Valley to believe in it and sponsor it and stuff like that. But I needed help, so I did approach somebody that had the same passion as I did. We sat down. We didn't get it off the ground in the first year. We did, to be honest, like in the first year, we really, really were committed to having meetings, going over logistics, expenses, when can we do it, who are we going to raise money for, and this and that. It ended up, one thing led to another, and it ended up being to where we started raising money for children with cancer.
Oh, wow.
Families that have children that are struggling with cancer. Well, obviously, we had some not really foundations, but yes, some foundations here that believed in us. So they helped us also to put us in contact with the families. Without their help, we couldn't have done any of it. And so that we ended up getting that event off the ground, the Bailando por un Sueño.
Oh, cool.
And it became, it started getting a lot of momentum. A lot of people started attending, a lot of attention, a lot of sponsors from radio to TV, behind our back. But, the main thing was the smile on the children. That, to me, all the efforts on doing the event, because it's a lot of work, and it wasn't one person doing it. It was basically, we had different people. We had the person that believed in me also, that we started doing it. We had a coordinator also that would help us with the dance coordination, help us with the event as well. So it wasn't like a one-man show that Oscar was doing. It was my vision, and I believed in what I wanted to do. But the main thing was that my mother-in-law back then got diagnosed with cancer. So that kind of put more passion in it, right?
It became it more personal.
Yes, more personal. That's the correct word. And then my partner, her dad got diagnosed with cancer. So that first event, we dedicated that event to her dad, my mother-in-law. They both passed away. So every time we had challenges in the event, because every year would get more difficult, we went back to why we started the event. Is the passion. Her dad, my mother-in-law. We saw. We saw the illness. It lived with her. It lived with me for the last 6 months of her life, and then we see the kids here in Imperial Valley, in our town, that are struggling. And you and I are here. We're comfortable. There's children right now, as we speak, that their parents don't have the finances for even maybe paying the light bill in the summer, gas for chemotherapy in San Diego. So that's a lot of passion. So there's a particular foundation that maybe on the next episode, we can bring her in.
Oh, cool.
And we can talk about, her foundation that she started here locally, because to me, the money was really important for it to stay here in Imperial Valley. That's what was really important. I had organizations that reached out to me that, hey, can we raise money and for San Diego and this and that? Nothing wrong with that. But you know what? I'm doing this for Imperial Valley.
Your passion was for here,
and for the
valley.
children. So yes, all the efforts and everything. And when you see the interviews with these children that are struggling with cancer, and they are braver than you and I and Urian put together. And I'm talking like 6-year-old kids, 10-year-olds, and they're sharing their story, and you will cry. You will cry. And they're braver than you and I.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, one of my daughters had to have surgery. Gracias a Dios, it was nothing major, but still we had to go to Radies, and there's like this ICU unit, and cada vez que pasaba por ahí, like you could just feel it, like, and it's because it's their kids, and it's like you say their bravery, and like,
yes,
when it happens to an adult, I mean, it's still like it's horrible, but when it's a little kid, again, it just your heart just
exactly
goes out a little more.
And that's why we obviously I took a step back.
Yeah.
And that Bailando por un Sueño ended up becoming a foundation in the state of California. I took a step back.
Okay.
But with this other foundation here in Imperial Valley, that hopefully we can bring them in.
Yeah.
We are already in the works of talking behind the scenes to do an event for them.
That's great.
To be able to raise money for that particular foundation.
Okay.
And because they support children up to the age of 18 only.
Oh, wow.
That's our goal. That's our mission. So I want to be able to. It's just amazing. You got to meet,
I'm excited.
The person that started this other agency here in our hometown, and if we can,
because there's so much talent here in the valley.
There is, and if we can be a part of, raising money and being a blessing to that agency and the families that they assist, it's incredible. There's no better reward that I can think of. When we see that the face when you give them a check. Yeah. And then it can be something really small that you and I take for granted. Yeah. But for them, it's a big deal.
Yes. Yeah. So what did it consist of? Like, how did it work? Or like?
So we would get the dance instructors. Okay. Coordinator will help us with that, and we would get 6 families. The agencies, local ones would help us with that, with getting the families. Okay. And then they would have to, and then we pair them up with 6, what we call movers and shakers. In the valley. So the movers and shakers are people from our community that are professionals, how we're doing now, that have made an impact or are making an impact currently in Imperial Valley. Okay. And we would pair them up with a dance instructor and then they would dance. And we didn't put like a genre, like you have to dance this. No, it could be any genre they wanted. Okay. And then we would have a dance competition where people are cheering for that particular couple. Okay. And then we're raising money equally, though. That's the difference for this event. The event for this one was that all the funds that we were raising, we raised them equally for all 6 for the 6 family members. So even though there was a winner, there was a number 1, here's the crown, you won the dance competition. Yes. And we got all these people cheering for everybody. The money got distributed, like you said, equally.
Oh, that's amazing.
So it was amazing. It was amazing. It was outdoors at Cheval Farm underneath the stars. It's just an amazing event. And we're hoping that we can do something similar with Blanc Image with another agency here, in the future. Yeah, and
we would definitely love to have the person that you said, so we can, have her on here. She can talk a little bit more about that. And one thing that I've learned about the Valley likes to give back. I don't think a lot of people realize that, but the Valley does like to give back. It does like to help out. I remember last week we had another owner of a business here, and she was saying that when she had to close down her business, they do it by like memberships. Yes. And her clients, even though they had to close down, they were still giving that monthly membership fee to keep supporting. Amazing. And a lot of people don't realize that, but the Valley is full of people that do like to give back to the community and stuff like that.
They're out there for sure.
That's amazing. Yeah. So that's so cool. That's amazing to hear. And we're going to show you guys another video we got to do for Oscar. He does not only DJ, he also has another job, and check it out.
Yes, that means your loan has funded and recorded. And congratulations, the home is legally yours. Hi, this is Oscar Garcia, your local loan officer with Cardinal Financial. I have been assisting home buyers in my Imperial Valley for over 15 years. Is your goal to purchase your home in 2022? Do you need down payment assistance? My team can assist you from the beginning to the end. Or do you need to refinance, take cash out, home improvement, purchase another property? Whatever your needs are, my business is built on trust, value, and more importantly, communication. So contact me today. I am Oscar Garcia.
Alrighty, so I'm sitting here with the man of many talents. So not only does he DJ, but he's also a loan officer at Cardinal Financial. I'm so sorry. Thank you very much. So for those of you who are listening to us, we just passed a commercial of his office and a little bit about what he does. So explain to us, how did you get into from DJ to loan officer?
Well, first of all, like the loan officer, I believe people take it for granted, like us in the business, like, oh, I'm a loan officer.
Okay.
A lot of times there's maybe people listening or watching like, well, I don't even know what a loan officer is. You know, do I get arrested or something? It's like, no, it's more, I'm the finance person for a home loan. So if you're looking like to purchase, refinance a home, invest, that you need financing. So you need a consultant, if you want to call a consultant. So you need somebody like myself, like a loan officer that will guide you through the process. Like, what do I need? You know, where do I get started? And how do I do this? How do I do that?
Yeah.
So, you know, I know that it's kind of like a word that everybody uses, but, you know, it's true. You know, we make dreams come true. You know, the ultimate, you know, American, you know, dream is to be a homeowner.
Yeah.
You know, so that's where I come in. What really got me into it, it really, you know, it's not saying like, hey, I wanted to become a loan officer.
Okay.
It just, I was always good in sales.
Okay.
Since I was very young.
Yes.
Since I was very young, even when I was in high school and then when I went to IVC, I just loved talking to people.
Okay.
You know, and then I, you know, got a first job in sales and I started doing really well, way better than what I thought I was going to do, because it just came natural to me. I really love giving customer service, you know, giving them information about whatever the product is. But at the end of the day, when they purchase, you know, back then in sales, to me, that was like the ultimate thing. Like, man, I really made them really happy, you know. And so those sales kept taking me to other types of companies to where eventually I got recruited to work for a pretty big company back then in the late 90s and in the doing financing. And I did really well in financing. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I went through some hiccups. I did get sent to San Diego to see if I can, you know, perform in a big city. And it was difficult. It was very difficult, to where, you know, they gave me 90 days to perform. Otherwise, you're gone. And that kind of changed everything in my career. To where I ended up turning it around. And sometimes we need that push, right?
Yes, definitely.
You need that push. And then from there, I ended up becoming a manager of that, not in that particular office, but here in El Centro of that finance company. And then they had a division of the mortgage as well. So they had a division in finance, division in mortgage. We had a person that's still here locally that, you know, that recruited me into the mortgage business. She was very persistent. And if she listens,
she saw your potential.
Yes, and and if she listens to it or watches it, maybe even sponsor it later.
Hey.
Then, you know, she was real persistent. She believed in me.
Awesome.
She was I can't say she was, because she's still a big mentor in my career, even though we don't work together in the same office right now, but I consider her not a friend, more like family.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so, you know, she brought me under her wing, believed in me, got into the mortgage business, and then my career just slowly, because it wasn't easy. Getting into the mortgage business is not easy.
And it's like a lot of studying, and I know that you have to take like tests and stuff.
You have to be licensed. You have to be licensed, but it's a lot of it's a relationship business. So not only being educated and being constantly learning, because this business evolves a lot. So it's not just having a passion for it and then having the skills and really, to be honest, it's just, I love helping people. So when
it's because I think customer service can make it or break it, and the relationship that you have with your clients as well. Correct?
Yes, correct. So I've been doing what I do in the finance side for being a loan officer. Now that I explain what that means, for helping families become homeowners for 15 years. I haven't left the business in 15 years because I did leave it for a little bit to pursue other things, to see, okay, will it work? Can it work? Can I do something else and fulfill what I'm trying to do? And it kept bringing me back to doing home loans. So I've been doing it for 15 years, you know, and for me, what makes it is when I tell that family that their loan is approved.
Like the end of the commercial right now. Like
there's nothing better. There's nothing better than just like the commercial. It's like, that's if you were to ask me, why do you put in so many hours? And, you know, those tests are not easy to retake those tests every year to get licensed and everything, you know, because, you know, you're going to have your good and bad days. But at the end of the day, I focus on the family. I focus on the family, no matter how many hiccups we have, or if it's, you know, if it's like, oh my gosh, you know, now what do we do here? Is I focus on the family to make for them to have that home. That way they can get their keys.
So
it's not gonna be about me anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw on your Instagram un post que pusiste where it's like you help them from the beginning to the end. I saw like where you put like where you help them, maybe if it's a credit issue, where you help them set them on track. Tell me how that works.
Yeah. So that's a great question.
Yeah.
So when you have a family that's credit challenged, then a lot of times they don't give them good advice, or they don't give them the time of the day, or you really need to take that family and say, hey, look, this is your credit challenges.
Yeah.
Let me show you what you can do to improve.
Yeah.
And every situation is different. So it could be where this one's going to improve in 1 month, maybe a week, or this one, hey, this is going to take some time. Are you committed to being a homeowner? Will you trust me?
Yeah.
Will you trust my advice? Will you follow up with me? Will you do what I tell you?
Yeah.
And if they say yes, I have had so many families where they were really credit challenged.
Okay.
And they got to where they needed to be at.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
exciting.
they got the approval. So that's where a lot of families really appreciate what I did for them because of the credit challenges that they had. So we have something called a rescoring system.
Okay.
So the rescoring system, we can actually, as good as I am with credit, it helps if we have a rescoring system in house, because then we can actually, the system will tell us exactly where to apply.
Okay.
On the credit card balances, how much, how many points you're going to get, and then we can be closer to the goal.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
so you guys help them from, what has been like the longest you've lasted with the client, as far as like from the beginning to like, okay, you're being approved for the loan? How did,
I'm going to share a story with you because I like sharing real stuff.
And I love stories.
Okay, so just yesterday, I DJ'd for a couple that I DJ'd their wedding.
Okay.
A few years back.
Okay.
And now the young man turned 30, yesterday.
Wow.
So his mother-in-law, his mother-in-law, which is, of course, his wife's mom and dad, to me it can't get any better, to where they came to me very, very credit challenged.
Okay.
And this lady, this customer, was so persistent. I want to be a homeowner.
Okay.
You tell me what to do, Oscar.
She put her faith in you.
Yes. That took a long time.
Yeah.
But, I don't really put the time in it.
Yeah.
I put the effort that this customer says, I'm going to have a home for my family, because she was really leading everything. She was leading the pack, for her daughters, her husband.
Yeah.
And it took, if you ask me how long did it take, every situation is different. It took a while.
Yes.
It took a while, but she never gave up. She kept following up. Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I almost there? Okay, you still need to do this, do that.
Yeah.
So the whole thing that ties everything together to what we're talking about is that now I'm DJing yesterday. She is there, because I DJ for her daughter's wedding, and I did her home loan.
That's amazing.
And it's real. It's real stuff, That happens, that they trust me. They trust me that I'm going to be honest with them. Yeah. Not just being professional. You can be professional, but if you really, really care about what you do and you're passionate, and I'm doing it out of my heart, and being honest with them, telling them exactly this is how we're going to do it. You need to really trust what I'm doing, and that's the value that I bring in when I do both sides. When I'm doing the Oscar wearing my DJ hat, when I'm wearing my loan officer hat.
You give it 100%, no matter what you do.
It's just passionate and knowing that I'm doing it for them, and I'm doing the right thing for them. Being honest. And
that's really that's really cool. I really like that, because I've heard stories where you go, and I think a lot of people are afraid, I don't have the credit, so they don't even try.
Right.
No, I'm not gonna go apply. I'm not gonna try because my credit, but. With you help them from A to Z. We help you if we can help your dream come true, and you stuck with her too. I mean, she was determined, but it also from your end, you were determined to help her as well.
Yes, and it was amazing for me to fulfill a family's dream that works so hard to be committed.
Yes.
So I'm going to be a homeowner, and for me to be part of that.
Yes.
That's what I do. I love it.
Yes, that's amazing. I can tell, and your work speaks for itself.
Thank you.
So during I want to talk just a little bit about the pandemic.
Yes.
What did the pandemic look like for you?
It really thrusted me to another level, and to believing more in myself than I ever believed. If I thought I believed in myself, no, that has nothing. You got to kind of take a step back, and as people are getting to know me and my little bit of my story, and I'm once again, I'm very grateful for being here. In the last 20 years, I've had, these incomes. I've
Yeah.
had the DJ income. I had, had the loan officer
Yeah.
income. And then when 2020 hit and that income got taken away, got
Yeah.
put to a halt for
Yeah.
a year for the DJ income, it's like, wow, how am I going to make it?
Yeah.
Am I going to really only survive? How am I going to pay my bills?
Yeah.
And, I just got to tell you, God is good.
Yes.
And he took me to a new level
Yes.
of really believing in Oscar and believing in him.
Yeah.
And you know what? I had record-breaking years
Wow.
for sales and the finance for doing the home loans
Yeah.
in 2020, last year as well.
Mm-hmm.
This year's going to be a different type of year
Yeah.
where, every year's we're living different times.
Yeah.
But we have a good team. We have a good
Awesome.
team. We're like family there at work. So yeah, 2020 hit us pretty hard.
Yeah.
But it was also a big blessing.
Wow.
So I went from like, wow, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna pay bills?
Yeah.
To where I was very blessed, knowing that the DJ business is always gonna be there.
Yes.
Always gonna be there. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
able to bless families
Yeah.
whenever Oscar wants.
Yes.
And the main thing is always gonna be my income on the finance side,
Okay.
where I'm gonna be able to help families become homeowners.
Awesome. So during the pandemic, were people still buying houses and stuff?
Yes,
wow.
but we had to adapt.
Yeah.
I was probably the first one saying that I told my supervisor, I go, hey Ralph, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this,
Yeah.
like talking to people over the phone or by Zoom,
Yeah.
because
Because that's how your meetings had to be, right?
99% was face to face
Yeah.
with Oscar, and I didn't think that I could do it. So we
Yeah.
had to adapt.
Yes.
So we had to adapt with having people trust you
Yeah.
over the phone, just hearing
Yes.
your voice or just looking at you, not really meeting you.
Yes.
And you know what? I'm not just saying it, but you can look at all my ratings
Yeah.
on my customers. And even with that kind of just doing the loans with that technology,
Yeah.
I was able to build trust with them.
Yes.
And for them to believe in me. And yes, people purchased homes like crazy during the pandemic because of the interest rates that were so low.
Wow. Well, that speaks a lot about yourself. I mean, if you can sell it over the phone or over a Zoom call, you can
Thank you.
definitely sell it in person. And that is amazing. Well, thank you, Oscar, so much for being here. And what is one piece of advice that you would give maybe as a business owner,
Yes.
owning, doing the whole and as an entrepreneur, also like, your job depends on, you make money. It depends. Maybe
Yes.
the business itself, the name isn't yours. The oh my goodness. Cardinal
You can do it.
Financial.
There you
Yes,
go.
thank you. See, he inspired. He motivated me. How did but I mean, if you sell, that's how you make your money. So what do you have to tell about maybe those entrepreneurs or people that are out there trying to make it on their own and branch out? What piece of advice do you have for them?
Yeah, that's a great question because with Blanc Image, I knew that, I love music, passionate, the feeling, everything. Now, if we just go to the financing side, like, hey, well, it's a whole different ballgame too.
Yeah.
But it comes down to like, no matter whatever people tell you, they tell you, let's say if you have a dream, I want to, be a musician, I want to be a photographer, I want to do video, I want to do whatever you want to do, pursue that dream. Because I think the number one thing I can tell the young entrepreneurs, and it may not want to be what they want to hear,
Yeah.
but do not be afraid to fail.
Okay.
Okay? Take that leap of faith. If you fail, learn from that experience. Make yourself a better person. If you fail again, good.
Yeah.
Get up again.
Yes.
And because the more failures you have in your life,
Yeah.
it's going to lead you to success.
Yes.
And that's what I had to start applying to me personally, to where like, hey, we're going to fail. But if I don't take a risk of doing this, and if I don't do it, then you're not going to know.
Yes.
So take the risk and don't be afraid to fail.
I definitely believe that. Hay un dicho en español, dice, puede más el que quiere que el que puede. Like,
Exactamente.
And I believe that. And yes, I think being an entrepreneur, having your own business, it's all about that. But I mean, it's at least you can't look back at your life and say, I never tried, or
Exactly.
I should have done it. You live without no regret knowing, and you never know. Like you said, we tried, and una de esas tiene que quedar. One of those ideas, one of those, tiene que, va a funcionar.
Yeah, you got to find yourself.
Yeah.
And you know what? Have fun.
Yes.
You got to have fun, So if you fail and then you find this is what I want to do, just, have fun doing it.
Yeah.
because
Find your
there's
passion.
there's nothing better than that. Like, just doing what we do, and we really, really enjoy doing what we do.
Yeah.
No matter if we have, if the day doesn't go our way a certain day, it's okay. Shake it off, get back up.
Yes.
And it's fun.
Yes, I think that's the important thing is like no matter what, get back up, dust yourself off, and keep going forward and pursuing your dreams. Well, thank you so much, Oscar. It's been so fun having you.
My pleasure.
And I just want to say thank you because you've helped us so much as well. As you know, me and Uriana as a business, you know, you've sent clients our way. I know you've spoken very kindly about us. You've been a big blessing in our lives as well.
I trust the both of you a lot.
Thank you so much. So we are, you know, whenever we think about people that we're grateful for, you are definitely in that list of people that we are grateful for. And just, you know, your work ethic and the kindness that you've shown to that you've trusted us to, you know, do some of like the pictures and the videos for your event and even for your own business. And we are very thankful for that.
Okay, we'll keep it going.
Yes.
We'll keep it going.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Valley Culture Podcast. We've had such an amazing time with our guest today, and we hope to see you in the next episode.